What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Big Cool coming to you from Colossal Sports TV. And I am back with another video. The rundown. Steven Espinoza says Wilder would be criticized less if people knew his purse for the upcoming fight with Dominic Breazeale taking place May 18th. We all know Deontay Wilder has been highly criticized. He's been drugged back and forth for his decision to stay loyal to Showtime and pass up a 3-fight, $100 million deal from DAZN that would have included 2 fights with unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, while getting $20 million to fight Dominic Breazeale on the streaming service app. But we all know last Tuesday, Deontay Wilder announced his fight with Dominic Breazeale, a bad blood fight. These guys cannot stand each other, and it will go down May 18th on Showtime. But let's talk about the comments from one Steven Espinoza. This is what he has to say. We're not going to publicize all of the financial arrangements like others have seen fit to do. Now, if we did, I think he probably received less criticism, but his financial arrangements are his business and his business alone. But to be absolutely clear, in general terms, we never saw this as be loyal and take a lot less money. He has established himself at a certain level, and he's due compensation of that level. And he's getting that. He's just decided to stay with his current partner in order to continue getting that. Okay, that's what he had to say. And there isn't information known about what he has agreed to with Showtime. The only information out there is that he turned down a 12.5 offer from ESPN that would have seen him fight somebody, preferably or presumably Dominic Breazeale, I'm assuming, on ESPN or ESPN Plus app, then go towards a big money rematch with Tyson Fury. We also know that what I just said, that DAZN offered him, I think, 2 different deals, 3-fight, $100 million deal. Like I said, that would have included Anthony Joshua fight twice. And then I think a 2-fight, I want to say 50 million deal. 20 for Dominic Breazeale, 30 for Anthony Joshua. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. But, you know, those are the figures we know from those entities. But what we don't know is that what he's getting paid by Showtime. And Steven Espinoza has made it clear that he won't, discuss those or release that information, at least not yet. We all know close to fight week or on fight week, the purses of the fighters are revealed, and that's when we find out how much these fighters are making. While I don't count the pockets of another man or woman, it will be interesting to see how much money Wilder ends up making for this Dominic Breazeale fight, because we all know $20 million from DAZN to fight Breazeale and $12.5 million to fight whoever it may have been if he had signed with Bob Arum and Top Rank on ESPN. But be as it may, he's going with Showtime at least for one more fight, and that's what it is. Steven Espinoza also had this to say. It is refreshing, but it's not surprising coming from Deontay. This will be our 12th fight together. We spent a fair amount of time together, and I know he's a loyal guy. But that's not the end of the conversation. Loyalty doesn't mean that you dance with who brought you, even if it means taking 1/10 of what's available on the open market. That's not the kind of loyalty we would ever expect. Loyalty means if you are generally in the same neighborhood with the financial opportunities, I think loyalty is the tiebreaker to stay with who got you there, and I think that's the situation. So that's why I think it's important to emphasize that Deontay isn't making a financial sacrifice. So he kind of revealed, without revealing the exact number, that Showtime was able to get in the ballpark of what DAZN was offering, at least for one fight. And there is rumors going around that Deontay and his team are currently in talks for a 3-fight deal. I don't know if that'll be an actual 3-fight deal, or they saying a 3-fight deal with including the Dominic Breazeale fight as a part of that. But if this is true and they came close, maybe 15, 16 million to fight Brazil, then okay, maybe you can understand that a little bit, but I still can't understand it because you have the guy that you've been calling out for the longest, Anthony Joshua, right there in the deal. Not only one fight, but two fights, unos dos, but Wilder's betting on himself. He wants to maintain control of his career. I respect that and I appreciate that. He's trying to go the Floyd Mayweather route, and he's not going to lock himself down with a network until he gets a big, big payday, and that is simple as that. So we shall see fight week or maybe sooner what the money for this fight he's going to be making against Brazil, and that may be enough to the people who are criticizing, or it may just throw fuel to the fire. If it's not a number that they say, I can understand it and I can respect it. But at the end of the day, man, $100 million and an opportunity to fight for the undisputed heavyweight title, it doesn't really matter how much money you getting when you claim to want to be one face, one name, one champion of the heavyweight division, and Deontay Wilder. Next up, Bob Arum says that Mikey Garcia versus Vasyl Lomachenko is no longer a 50-50 purse split fight after Mikey Garcia got that ass beat by Errol Spence a few weeks ago in his welterweight debut. That was as one-sided could be. But we know Bob Arum and Mikey Garcia has a long history, and I'll post a link from the interview he did with Ellie Seckback in the description box down below so you all can check it out for yourself and know what I'm saying is the truth. But we know that Bob Arum set Mikey for 2 years, not one, but 2 years, because Mikey felt that he was getting shortchanged on his money and a list of whole other issues he had with Bob Arum in Top Rank. So he sat down, dug his heels in, sat on the sideline for 2 years, lost 2 years of his prime before ultimately getting out of his deal, and was able to migrate from HBO at the time over to Showtime and, align himself with Al Heyman, Richard Schaefer, and all of those people that works with PBC and Showtime. And now, he's seen his career skyrocket. He's been in the ring with Adrian Broner, Robert Easter Jr., Errol Spence, Sergey Limpinets. So it's safe to say that he's made some good money against some respectable fighters in and around his weight division. And, a fight that we all want to see him in is against Vasyl Lomachenko, a 3-division champion. Lomachenko is a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. A lot of people have him number 1. Some people have Bud Crawford number 1. But you pretty much can flip a coin with those two guys. And fans are craving a fight between him and Mikey Garcia, the clear-cut top guys at 135. And it isn't even close. It's not close at all. And, Bob Arum, him and Mikey obviously has bad blood. Their relationship didn't end correctly, especially when a mug feels that you're fucking with his money. He gonna look at you with the side eye. But if these two sides want to come to an agreement, want to fight each other, you should be able to put the egos to a side and make the fight happen. But now that Mikey Garcia is no longer undefeated, Bob Arum feels that, he's lost a little bit of that pizzazz that made him say, you know what, I'll make the fight with him for 50-50. But Bob has to realize Vasyl Lomachenko isn't undefeated either. He did lose to Orlando Salido, and I understand Salido and the weight issues, but a loss is a loss, and he has taken a loss to Orlando Salido. At least Errol Spence lost to a guy in at least Mikey Garcia lost to a guy in Errol Spence who has a bright future, who is a current champion, and quite honestly, he was much, much bigger than, Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia didn't get stopped. He didn't get dropped. He didn't get badly buzzed. He, put up as good as effort as his little frame would allow him against a big welterweight in Errol Spence. So Bob Arum has to stop this shit, man, because this is why he upsets so many boxing fans and pundits, because he says shit like this. Look, this is a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? You don't fucking punish a guy or fucking take that shit off the table because he took an L. It's not like he took an L to fucking, you know, Devin Alexander or Andre Berto. No disrespect to those guys. You know, he took an L to arguably the best welterweight in the world, and a weight class that wasn't his. His debut was March 16th against Spence. So I think at 135, it's pretty much even. You know what I'm saying? Garcia has unified the IBF and WBC titles. He no longer holds the IBF. He vacated it, which now it belongs to Richard Comey, who was in talks to fight Vasyl Lomachenko, but he suffered a broken knuckle, and his opportunity had to be pushed back at least temporarily. But if Lomachenko wins like we expect him to do against Anthony Crolla, he will indeed face Richard Comey in a unification bout with the WBA and the IBF lightweight titles on the line. But I think that Bob Arum is wrong here. I think that it's still a 50-50 split, as it should be between these two guys. And I expect if it happens, it will be a 50-50 split. And if it doesn't happen, it's because either Mikey Garcia decided to drop down to 140 instead of 135, or that Bob Arum has said, fuck it, it's not going to be a 50-50 split. You took an L, you didn't come to fight against Spence, and that's pretty much what it is. Next up, Tom Loeffler says, if Vladimir Klitschko returns, he should fight Deontay Wilder. Rumors are going rampant, running rampant, that the former heavyweight champion of the world, a long reigning champion, Vladimir Klitschko, is looking to return to the ring. He is being pursued aggressively by DAZN, who would love to match him up in a rematch with Anthony Joshua. Them two guys had a great fight. I want to say back in 2016, 2017, where both guys touched the deck before ultimately the youthful, more fresher, stronger, in his prime Anthony Joshua put Klitschko down one or two more times and finally stopped him in the 11th round. But, you know, Klitschko had retired after that. But as you all know, he got that itch to return to the ring, that itch to fight, and, you know, rumors are rampant. But, you know, Loeffler feels that he should target Deontay Wilder. And I don't know, you know, if that's what he should do. But this is what Loeffler had to say. He had such a good championship run that a lot of people want to see him back in the ring. A company is offering him a lot of money to come back. He's one of those brands that the fans, we want to see him come back. I like to see him come back. I don't know whether he is content with what's he accomplished in his career already. You know, his brother Vitaly was in the Hall of Fame last year and is the mayor of Kiev. And Vladimir has had one of the most storied championship runs. It will be his decision. If it makes sense, and he's been posting videos and photos showing the bug is still somewhere in the back of his head. He came so close when he knocked down Anthony Joshua, but my personal opinion is I like to see him in Deontay Wilder. Vladimir had such a great championship run, and Coach Emmanuel Stewart brought in the sparring partners. He brought both Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder in as sparring partners, and now they are both champions. But I think it would be fireworks, as Deontay has big punching power. That would be a tremendous fight, but that's just my personal opinion. I'll make that clear, as I don't want to get in trouble with him. So he said a handful, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. He has, you know, been releasing photos and videos of him either hitting a heavy bag, maybe sparring. But you know, it's definitely he's definitely itching to get back in the ring. But I don't think he should face Wilder, at least not in his first fight back. He needs 1 or 2 fights, maybe even 3, to shake that rust off, because he's like 42. Yeah, he's 42 years old. And he hasn't fought since that fight against Joshua back in 2017. So we shall see, but it'll be an interesting fight. A lot of people were skeptical going into the Anthony Joshua fight. It started off like he's a guy that couldn't, you know, pull the trigger, but as the fight wore on, he started to get into a rhythm, and he started to, you know, light up Anthony Joshua. But 2 years removed from that fight against Deontay Wilder, who is 33 years old and is an absolute killer, with a big right hand, it may spell for disaster for Mr. Vladimir Klitschko. But I'm going to wrap this video up. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Drop your comments in the comment section down below, giving me your thoughts on all these topics. If you enjoy the content throughout the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And also turn on your notification to be notified every time I upload content or go live. Share these videos. Until next time, I am out. Peace.